My name is Rohan Aluri, and this is my Physics 2212 Charged Tapes Lab. The purpose of this experiment was to further analyze prepared pieces of charged clear tape and subsequently determine how much charge is on one piece of clear tape, to also calculate the corresponding number of electrons on the tape, and finally observe how the presence of distinct charges affect objects' underlying behavior and composition. At the bottom, you can see some of the fundamental physics concepts that we used within the lab, which were the electric field of a point charge, and in this case we consider the clear tape to be a point charge, Coulomb's law to calculate the attraction and repulsion between charged particles, and finally Newton's second law. Some of the materials that we used within this lab were a roll of clear tape, a ruler, a flat surface, and stackable objects for support. Some of the main results that we yielded from the experiment were the charge of a tape, which is equal to 2.145 times 10 to the negative 9 coulombs, and the force due to gravity, which is equal to 1.90 times 10 to the negative 3 newtons. On the right, you can see some of the models that we used within the lab and the assumptions that we made. We assume that each tape is uniform and is considered as a point charge where all the charge is at the center of the tape, that the bottom and the top U tape repelled one another, proving that they are the same charge. And at the bottom, you can see that because the momentum of tape B is not changing, the net y component of the force on tape B is 0, and how tape B is considered the system while tape A is the surroundings, and that the gravitational and electric forces are the only forces acting on the tape. Here we can see some of the tables of the experimental data values that we yielded within the experiment. Some of the tape dimensions are listed below, and mainly we can see how gravitational and electric force both equal 1.90 times 10 to the negative 3 newtons, and how the charge is equal to 2.145 times 10 to the negative 9 coulombs. At the bottom, we made additional calculations for the total number of atoms and the number of excess electrons on the top tape. While performing the experiment, we made several observations between the attraction of the U-tape to different objects. We see that the U-tape attracted to the hand, the book, and the charged pen, but repelled with the second U-tape, and consequently, we can determine that the tape has a positive charge because of this. While performing the GlowScript code, we made several observations, such as the magnitude of the charge on one piece of tape for a single point charge was 1.6 times 10 to the negative 8 coulombs, while the magnitude of charge on one piece of tape for a line of charges was 2.15 times 10 to the negative 9 coulombs. Here we can see the actual code for the computational procedure via GlowScript, and in part 1 you can see how we declare the initial dimensions of the tape and make the according calculations similar to the previous slide. In part 2 we can see how we used similar declarations as in part 1 and create a function for a set of line charges to model the net electric field for the two pieces of tape. Here are the outputs for both parts of the computational procedure on GlowScript, and on the left we can see how the green arrow represents the electric force and the red arrow represents the gravitational force. On the right we can see how the green arrow represents the electric force coming from the bottom tape and the white represents the net electric force, and how the yellow represents the net gravitational force. Some of the additional questions that we answered within this lab were if the charges of the electrons and protons changed, that the signs of the charges were to be reversed, then the existing electric fields and forces would subsequently change direction, but each tape would still repel against one another due to both of them having the same sign. The same existing laws apply where forces with opposite or neutral charges attract one another, where forces with like charges repel against one another. For the second question, upon analyzing the point charge model and the line charge model, the point charge model had a significantly higher electric field than the line charge model. This is due to all the charge being concentrated at the center of the tape for the point charge model, which makes the electric field and force larger. However, in reality, the line charge model would be more accurate because the charges would be distributed all over the piece of tape rather than concentrated in a single point. In conclusion, we determined that line charges have a physical size in one direction which distributes the charge along that direction, whereas point charges are treated as a point system. Newton's second law, along with Coulomb's law and electric charge formulas, can be applied to find the charges of common household objects. Some of the sources of error and potential improvements that we recognized from this lab were that factors such as air resistance and friction could limit the efficiency of the lab and affect the associating calculations. If the system were to be repeated in the future, it would take place in a closed environment accounting for negligible friction such as a vacuum.